guess we keep this. You discard your hand, right? You discard your hand, and then you draw 2, and then red permanents deal extra damage. You could play like 1 or 2 of that card as well. Pretty good with the Power Conduit. 2 cards every turn. Baubles are a 0-mana artifact for Blast in your Tia. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I don't love Baubles in decks where you're just like planning on not sacrificing it very aggressively. You know what I mean? I usually think that they don't look very good in these kind of strategies. Oh, happy to test the Murktide matchup. I can, for money, Sodium. If you type exclamation point deck tech, you can get info on how to resolve the deck techs. I do like the idea of playing potentially more Leyline of Sanctities in the sideboard to hedge for the creativity matchup, although it does feel like creativity is falling out of favor again. Starting to get a big old target on its back. I'm gonna shock, so hold up Counterspell. Flame Blitz is cute. Probably not a card I'd register, but it's not bad either. It's a good draw. Yeah, Leyline Binding seems really, really strong on this matchup. Gator, 12 months, thank you. Borrower. I think I'll let this resolve. Probably not going to binding it. I might binding it, actually. I'll take a hit. They might play a creature. I might draw land for Verdict. If I draw a land for Verdict, I might just Verdict anyways. My hand's so removal heavy. Think Founding Third Path pushes Grixis combo version of creativity at all? Maybe. Maybe. That'll be $5 every day for the rest of your life. Maybe. Do you have any other thoughts here? Okay, well, I guess my other thought is this looks very fun. Oh, you should be playing a Shinka. You should be playing a Shinka to go with Ragavan. Any mono red deck should be with Ragavan should play 1 Shinka. Okay, try to draw 2 here. Maybe gets countered. I guess if they spell pierce this, maybe I'm supposed to force back. So here I'll just go Chalice in 1 into Leyline Binding, potentially. Bolts me in response, so they just resolves, I guess. Great for this resolve. This card is 1 mana, it's so crazy. It is just so wild to me this card is 1 mana. I'll force a Expressive Iteration, pitching a Verdict if that gets cast here. I think the first force is good. I think it's obviously a flex spot though. 2 cards opponent's hand, passes. Just jam a fun Raveler. This their hand is just like 2 heats. Land heat. Something like that. The black card in sideboard is Esper plus Memory Triome, making more sense than current configuration. I don't really know why it would. I don't know why Sultai Triome plus Jeskai Triome would be any worse than Esper Triome, Memory Triome. I'm just kind of dumb, I guess. Maybe you could put it to me in more simple terms. I guess on the draw, maybe I want the full 4 ending. Pretty likely to trim some on the play. Think I'm cutting 1 Jace, 2 Jace, 1 Jace, 1 hero, maybe. Trimming Counterspell's fine. I want at least the first Rest in Peace. Probably 2. I tested Lockdown in blue-white. The problem with Lockdown is like you want Chalice in the blue-white deck right now, and you want Chalice against Hammer Time, and you don't want to play Chalice and Lockdown in the same deck. So I don't think it's good. We could have Charm. Problem with this matchup is all your cards are good. No Veto against Murktide? No, I don't like Veto against Murktide. But it's also like, you know, look at our sideboard. We could play another Jace. We could play another Rest in Peace. We could play a Counterspell, Archmage's Charm, Force of Negation. It's just like, or not, maybe not Force so much, but all of these cards are like very reasonable cards. But you know, we're also playing Blue-White Control, which is, you know, like the best deck in the format against Murktide, or one of the best decks in the format against Murktide. Blue-White Control with Chalice. You have to come. Oh, Lucy in it. Okay, all right, hold on. Hold on, I've got important things to do.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
They haven't been like actually cuddling yet. That's so cute.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike. What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Lucy can't win. Oh, she came in here. I guess she hated to cuddle with Athena, but she's right here. Yeah, maybe I'll set up a Lucy cam. I had an Athena cam set up for a little while, but she just like never likes to sit in her dog bed. For whatever she hangs out with Esther, but Esther like it's just like ingrained in Athena's brain, I guess, that I just can't pay attention to her during the stream. Binding's been really good so far. It has definitely felt like one of the best cards in the deck to me so far. Obviously, relatively small sample size still. But like Binding is like particularly good on those turns where you play Counterspell plus Teferi, or sorry, Binding plus Teferi, or Binding plus Counterspell. When you get to double spell with it, it feels unreal. Okay, they just let Chalice resolve. The Sign of Draco could be relevant now that Binding is pushing people towards 5-color bases. Yeah, I was playing Sign of Draco in the 60-card Rhino list I was playing the other day. I thought that was pretty good. No, they hit ending. Fuck. Okay. Do you think Lockdown sees any play? I mean, Lockdown is like a good enough card to see some play in Modern, but the problem is like Lockdown will see play. I think if for whatever reason Chalice of the Void becomes not a card that Blue-White wants to play at all. But like the reality is like Chalice is really good right now, or good enough to be on, and Chalice is again good enough to be on, and Chalice is really good against Hammer, and Lockdown and Chalice are a non-bow, so I think that you just don't want to play those two cards together. Frost with the 2-pack, thank you. If that's for deck tech, you can post it in the chat. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to dispute this, but I kind of like disputing to just get rid of their treasure tokens. Had a hard time with this list. Yellow hat. Yellow hat. Da 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 da. Thank you, Gab, for the raid. We're playing Leyline Binding and Blue-White Control. I've been liking the card a lot so far. Good day for a Gab stream when I'm playing Blue-White. Hold on, I got an interesting deck tech to do also. A big game against Murktide. Probably losing this game though. And we're singing the next card draw. A lot going on. Okay. Not the end of the world. What if I sing the Ragavan card? I guess I'm not drawing it, huh? Stream tells us prowess refreshed. It doesn't. Yeah. Also, like, just making you a better Chalice deck is a big part of the reason why we like this version. So I guess I'm gonna steal Ragavan, try to cast Counterspell, huh? Okay, Archmage's Charm. So Creativity and Pioneer. I'm kind of surprised to see you on Titan of Industry instead of Xenagos plus Worldspine Worm. I think I'm a big fan of trying to play Xenagos plus Worldspine Worm instead of just the 4 copies of Titan of Industry. It's just a game-winning, game-ending combo against most decks, and I think it's a really good place to be. I will say that when you're playing that combo, you don't want to play Chandra Torch of Defiance, because if you flip your creature, you lose, and you're already playing 4 Valakut Awakening, so you have outs if you draw your Xenagos, or your Worldspine Worm. If you draw your Xenagos, you can still just put a Worldspine Worm into play sometimes. Although that would also make you want to cut your Transmogrify and just be in on Creativity. You could potentially play the new Jaya. The new Jaya, I think, would be a pretty good fit for this deck. Although maybe be careful with the -1. Splashing, I think the mana look. I think the blue splash for Growth Spiral, Prismatic Command, Secrets looks good, especially because Secrets is really more of a 4-drop than a 1-drop. It's also true that you could maybe just cut the 4-mana Planeswalkers altogether and play more copies of Big Score, or like the whatever the redundant Big Score is. Whoa, this resolved. Rogue Throw on the sideboards, I think good tech. You can play a little bit more with like the sideboard tech cards, like Rogue Thar, Void Winnower, maybe Titan of Industry, but probably not. But I really like the Xenagos World Spineworm kind of combo finish. You could also play Emrakul too, where Emrakul having flying is really, really nice. Okay, how many times? I think Ragavan hit us like what, 5 times this game? And then now we just get to go Leyline Binding, Ledger Shredder, hold up Archmage's Charm. I think Ragavan actually, or no, it hit us 4 times, right? This is nuts. Casting this on my opponent's turn so they don't get the connive, obviously. Yeah, I think I'd be inclined to just play like 6 big scores. Unexpected Windfall, thank you. Over the Chandras. Maybe you can play 3rd Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. This card's really good. I would play the 2-mana Mizzium Mortars that... Okay, let's counter this. The 2-mana Mizzium Mortars effect that exiles Lava Coil. I would play that over Mizzium Mortars. There's just like a lot that's relevant to exile. Most notably Old Growth Troll. Yeah, these are the turns where binding just feels crazy, where you just get to double spell, and like one of your spells is like super impactful removal spell. So they're going to play a 3/3 Murktide, 3 cards in hand, very likely having another Murktide. I brick for the turn, but although they have a weird decision if they don't have another creature to either kill my Teferi or leave this back to block Ragavan. Probably have to kill Teferi. Vanna, 22 months, thank you. How's Leyline? Leyline's great, I think. I've been really impressed with it so far. I think it's been like, it hasn't been awkward or like gummed up in the hand almost at all. I can't remember a time where it has been, and it's been feeling very good every time we've drawn it too. I think I'm gonna not crack the fetch, it's close. Okay, should have cracked. I heard some growling. What do you think of Joint Exploration and Reclamation over Spiral? I mean, Spiral's probably better, but Joint Exploration is just like a card you have to play test and try to evaluate, you know? Has Boseiju been a problem for binding? I mean, not that many decks play Boseiju. And then it's also like, a lot of times against Boseiju, you're going to go like 1 mana binding, they're permanent. They're going to go 2 mana Boseiju, you're binding, and then you get an untapped land. I just don't think it's like really that big of a concern. You know what I mean? It's like a problem, obviously, if they're like looping Boseiju with Red and 6, and like you just never get to stick a binding ever. But you're also, you know, you're also a deck that's like pretty happy to be ramped, and you know when you're playing a 1 mana card and they answer it with a 2 mana card, and that's you a mana. I just don't think that's that scary to me. Okay, so they hit me for 6. Guess I did side out. Oh, I have 1 Jace, right? Yeah, so I guess I'll leave this uncracked. Punished again. Okay. Going to game 3, flood at the end there. Would have been awesome to win the game after getting hit by Ragavan 1,000 times. I do think on the play I'm going to cut at least the 3rd ending. Maybe I'll go down to 2 endings on the play. I do think you with the full 4 on the draw for Ragavan, but on the play you can answer with Leyline Binding, Solitude. They don't always have it. You have Chalice. I think I'll still play 3, or maybe I'll play a Charm. We'll play a Charm. That also is like an okay answer to Ragavan on the play. Trim Chalices. I would never, if I would never trim a Chalice against Murktide. I don't know what to tell you. I would never play less than 4. I guess I do know what to tell you. That's what I tell you. I resolved Voice of the Void. We did, yeah. We draw stepped it against our Eldrazi Tron opponent with Teferi. So they fetch shocked before playing their baubles, and then they put the second main phase, and then they play a post-combat Ragavan. Okay. The Blood Moon will increase play to deal with Leyline decks. It's too early to tell. So I think I would prefer to have my opponent's spell, or I guess they can't. There's no 1 mana card that can. Yeah, they have to have Counterspell, so we'll Solitude this in combat, and we can win the fight. See if they have a Shore Up. Yeah, Leyline can also answer Blood Moon. If you fetch Island Plains, then it just is a 3 mana answer to Blood Moon, which is a pretty good deal. Oh, they kept a 1-land double bauble Ragavan hand and missed. I think I keep up that charm. It's really good if my opponent plays Ragavan. Although they're just going to discard here, so I'm happy to let my opponent go to discard and not give them a target for like a Spell Pierce. Yeah, I'm just gonna get my Zagoth Triome here. Thoughts on 1 Hall of Heliod's Generosity. I hate Hall of Heliod's Generosity in a deck that's trying to meet domain requirements, in a deck that's playing Counterspell and Archmage's Charm and 1 mana white spells. I typically feel like people like, and we're not playing Typhoon. I hate it. Yeah, I'm just happy to let them discard here. Happy to let them discard. Even, I guess I could pay for Spell Pierce, but they could have Dispute. I will counter a I'll consider. Yeah, bad beats for sure. I guess I like that Rest in Peace. Doesn't get Spell Pierced here. Alright, fair enough. Really the only card that answers it there. Well, you know, the Rest in Peace is still pretty good. But now they don't have to discard it. Cadris, think of the 18 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. Or Cardris. But we see a Murktide enter the exile zone here. Yeah, I don't think Spellslayer is a bad card to play. It's just like, you know, I felt like the Rest in Peace was for sure resolving, and it didn't. That's why I left. Opponent's 19 cards deep. Still hasn't found their second land. Yikes. I'm still not going to play anything. This is not like... I'm just getting so much value. Alright, there we go. Now I will draw 2. Biscuit, 9 months, thank you. I'm gonna Plains and pay so that if my opponent has I think I'll land Blood Moon, I can. I think I'll Spell Pierce, land Blood Moon, I can deal with it. Duck Sauce, Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Opponent's got 5 cards, I've got 5 cards. I'm a little bit ahead on mana and I have Rest in Peace in play. I guess I can also Prismatic Ending a Blood Moon. They do find a land. Oh man. Yes, Esther sent. Hold on. Esther sent. So this is the first time Athena and. Oh, can I not? So it's not rotate. Okay, I'll figure out how to do that. It's the first time they have ever snuggled. Hold on, I have to go. Yeah, I'll rotate off. They've been they've been getting along really well, but they haven't ever like snuggled in the same bed together. Oh my gosh. It's just so cute, especially because Athena, she's a husky. She just like she's very friendly. She's very sweet, but she doesn't like to cuddle very much. But it didn't jam the Ragavan again. Huskies are territorial. So Athena is a very unique dog. A lot of the things you hear about Huskies being territorial and loud and like selfish. Maybe the selfish is kind of true, but Athena is like almost a completely silent dog. She almost will never bark at anything. She will almost never bark at anything. She is just very, very quiet, and she is also very gentle too, which is I think a bit different. And she's not territorial at all. And she is very, very happy to have another dog in the house. She is a very, very interesting dog. Poker 5 months. Thank you. Do you know what kind of breed Lucy is? She definitely has some kind of. She definitely has pit bull in her, but you can like really see it in her face. But she's mostly just like a mix and a mutt. You can't really tell. You can't Flusterstorm Teferi. The Flusterstorm is only instants and sorceries. Yeah, maybe a little bit like a Cocker Spaniel, but she's just kind of a scrappy mix. Okay, opponent has Serum Powdered. Playing the Prismatron deck, it seems. Leyline Binding, likely very good against them. Another Serum Powder. 39 cards in their library. I mean, I've got a Prismatic Ending and Teferi. Those are both pretty good at the matchup. If I draw one land, this hand's fine. Does look like we're going to be a little... Well, yeah. It's the first time it's somewhat awkward that we just can't fetch our Triumph turn 1. We need to ending this, and Leyline Binding is going to cost 3 until we can find another fetch land. It's probably not the end of the world, though. I saw you build Soul Fires and Firefly. Please play it. I might end up being a Pioneer deck. It might end up being a deck we never play, but I do feel like the Filer of Faith, specifically in a White Mane Lion Oketra's Monument deck, is interesting. Unlikely to be like anywhere close to like good, but it could end up surprising me. We'll see. Yeah, so I rebuilt the scene. I know the chat box is like a little weird. Kind of messing with it a little bit. Does anybody know what key you can press to adjust the boxes like frame by frame? Because is it control? It is control. Okay, there you go. Because otherwise it like snaps into place. Okay, I think that looks fine. The powerful powder, huh? I'm gonna probably just Teferi bounce the powder. Okay, so there's our domain. I could maybe play this tapped and then try to Teferi next turn. Or sorry, Jace next turn. I think this is also fine. Although, I guess Leyline Binding... Oh yeah, Leyline Binding on Ballista seemed like a good line, because I could go Binding Ballista, then I could save Teferi to bounce the Binding, and then replay Binding all of the next turn. That was probably the best line. Oh yeah, I forgot that there's like other new Squadron Hawk effects. Yeah, I don't know if you want to play those. Like Hawk being 2 mana is like really nice. But yeah, maybe I'll do another one like that. I'll look at all the ones. Yeah, I thought about playing like one of the new White Angel in this list too. Probably more Soul Sisters too. I was building this like right before the stream. Could be a better Pioneer deck too. Okay, another Ballista. So just play this and pass. I think I'm gonna Binding at least this one in combat next turn. Oh, the Legion Angel. Yeah. Maybe in Pioneer, maybe not in the modern version. Maybe if you play Eldarmy's Call too. I feel like I can just let them have the 1/1 Ballista for now. What do you think? I don't know what the price for Leyline Binding is going to be. I don't really think about price very much. Could not tell you. Blitz, 28 months, appreciate you. Welcome back. Yeah, deck techs are 2 gifted subs. Put his hand as Serum Powder, Mystery Card, and then presumably whatever they tutor off Karn. Although they have passed priority back to me, which I will take as an opportunity to just snatch their Karn. Dude, Binding is crazy. Binding is the more I'm casting the card, the more I'm liking it. You ever just answer any non-land permanent for 1 mana at instant speed? And have sometimes have some upsides where you just answer Ballista and rebuy it. Okay, let's just Solitude this before they can put a counter on it. Play tapped Watery Grave, hold up Counterspell. I will not play Mono White Defiler today, I think. You know, this is why I like to playtest and brew off stream for the most part, where like I know the Mono White Defiler deck looks really cool, but it could be just a complete pile and be like really like unfun to stream because it has no chance at all. And so yeah, this is why I spend hours every night working on lists and playing off stream, is so when like these fun stuff like like that end up being good sometimes, that's when they're really exciting to play, especially because you guys know I playtest them to some extent. Although it is true also, like with the new set releases, I'm playtesting less. But I'm getting back into the groove. I've always seen Doom's Twitch builds. Yeah, I've seen Doom's and Todd's Twitch build stuff. I think those can be fun. I would be like somewhat open to them, but I'm also like right now there's just so much to do. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. And I want to be, you know, the Twitch build stuff would be like, you know, special occasion, kind of like I'm bored, let's do something fun. I played this on my main account. I don't have. Oh, I guess I do have a couple of alt accounts that I got to like pick up cards one time, but yeah, I play on my main account. I'm also doing like a lot of like dropping and requeuing, so I need the play points for my main account. You know, I'll do what I do on stream too, but way more aggressively. Where if I want to change a single card, I just drop and requeue. I mean, I have 2 counterspells in my hand. It just doesn't matter. Unimpressed. Thank you for the 2-pack. Appreciate you. Am I a modern specialist or to explore other formats like Pioneer? I've played... at some point in my life, I've been into like every single format. I have been playing a lot of Pioneer this year, although the last few months have been more focused on Modern again. But I for the most part, at the moment, only really stream Modern and Pioneer, but I actually played Legacy on Saturday. At one point, I felt like I was a Legacy specialist, and I played way more Legacy than any other format. At one point, I've played way more Limited than any other format. At one point, I played way more Standard. It just kind of depends on what I'm interested in, I guess. And the reality is that there's just kind of always something new to be interested in when it comes to Magic. And Modern has also been just captivating my interest for a long time now. Okay, Bank Coco. What did I play Legacy? I started off... Well, so me and my best friend we just like proxied every single Legacy legal deck for a while. And so we would spend every night just playing Tier 1 Legacy decks. Every night for like years. Like 2 years. And then the first Legacy deck I bought was Emrakul's. And I got to play 1 GP with it and a couple local events, and then Top got banned. And I was already like a very experienced ad nauseum Tendrils player too. And after they banned Top, I decided to spend more time learning Ant, and I kind of became like an Ant specialist. Man, I could Ultimate the Teferi, Brainstorm Jace, but I'll just attack for 9. And I even got to play the 21st anniversary Pro Tour with Storm, and kind of carried the team, to be honest. It was awesome. Ant is one of the 2 main Storm variants in Modern. There's a couple of others, but the acronym stands for Ad Nauseam Tendrils. They usually play Chalice themselves, so I think I'm cutting the Chalice. I can probably bring in the Narset. Dress Down's good against the Ballista. I don't know if I went 2 or 3. I think about like Voices on the Play. Could be a little slow on the draw. Okay, so Band's Company with Scurry Oak, okay, and Heliod. Okay, I find your... Oh, this is Pioneer. No, this is not Pioneer. I don't know why you have a Pioneer mana base. You have a Pioneer mana base here with Pathways and Sanctums, and you're playing Heliod, but yeah, this is obviously not a Pioneer deck. You're plenty of not Pioneer legal cards. Historic. Oh, dude, no. Wait. Okay. This is gonna be tough. I don't know what's legal in Historic. I don't know what's legal in Historic. Fuck. Are there 1 mana dorks in Historic? Are there Aether Channeler sick? I didn't know Ephemerate was Historic legal. I'll say this deck looks sick. I can't tell you if Skyclave is well positioned. So the combo is Scurry Oak, Heliod. I don't know if you're supposed to be more in on Scurry Oak, Heliod and going infinite with that, and your Soul Warded effects. Yeah, it is actually really weird to me that you only have 1 Scurry Oak to go infinite. Also, Ranger Captain seems great, being able to find your Soul Warden, protect from counter spells. Maybe it's a little slow. Obviously, you're kind of gummed up on 3 drops. Maybe just cutting a Borrower to Ranger Captain for 2 more Oaks makes sense. Lots of Thoughtseize in the format. It's interesting. It's probably a good deck against Thoughtseize decks. Ooh, triple Solitude. I did play 1 or 2 Historic PTs, but the format is so like unrecognizable from when I was like into it. Yeah, I think I would probably be trying to play Llanowar Elves and Elvish Mystic, but it's just really hard for me to say that for sure without like knowing what the dynamic of the format is like. I would probably be more on Scurry Oak. I think that the infinite combo in a format like Historic's good. Or does an infinite combo in Historic even work because you're gonna like rope out and not actually be able to make infinite tokens? I don't know. It's a value deck with combo, secondary, over top game plan. Yeah, but I think only, like, it doesn't seem that hard to combo. So I kind of feel like, I do feel like just playing one more combo, like one or two more Scary Oaks, still meets the requirements of value deck game 1, combo plan B, you know. All right, let's get Watery Grave, Prismatic Ending. Could get Fountain. Yeah, we can get Fountain. We'll get the Triome with the Delta. This matchup seems good. Yeah, I think I do like Leyline Binding this, so this means the future Teferi can reset my Leyline Binding. Any tips on improving Unlimited without breaking the bank? I mean, listening to podcasts, reading, you know, articles, watching streamers is a good way to learn any format without spending money. There are also, I think, draft simulators for any limited format that you can use to get a feel for things before actually ever playing a game. This is nuts. Like when you get to like binding a token or a ballista, you just pick up your binding again and then like do it again later. Yeah, cube is a good answer too. I've said, I don't think I've said this enough actually. Sorry, my headphone keeps falling out. I don't think I've said this enough, but I am certainly of the opinion that like for a long time, I've been playing Magic a long time, and for the most of the periods I've been playing Magic, I've been like super into one format and like not that into anything else. And there was a long time where I whenever cube was around, I would drop whatever format I was into at the time, and I would just cube nonstop. And I feel like cubing on Magic Online really improves like your thinking abilities for deck building. It really improves your like situational awareness, that kind of like conscious mind thinking about your plays rather than like the autopiloting after just like, you know, playing a matchup a lot. Just like cubing a lot, I think, is like one of the main tools that I use to like improve my fundamentals as a Magic player. And yeah, it also helps the cube is really, really fun. really fun. I remember when I was like, I must have been like 19 or something, maybe 20. And it was vintage cube season. And my girlfriend at the time was like on a cruise, and my parents were out of town. They took all of my siblings to Harry Potter World and asked me to watch The House, which is a whole other. I wasn't invited for whatever reason. I was on house watching duty. But I remember my dad works from home and has 4 monitors, and I had a different vintage cube league on 4 monitors like that entire week. Like I would wake up, I would eat, I would vintage cube for like 10 hours, I would eat again, I would vintage cube for like 6 more hours, and I would go to sleep. I did that all week. It was awesome. Gonna let this connect here. Hoping that they ballista. I just dressed down and killed both. It was like legitimately a really fun. Like it was a great week. I had such a good time, but I still am like a little salty that I wasn't even asked if I wanted to go. They didn't even ask me. Okay, the Teferi hero can Leyline Binding this. Chalice on 2. Let's veto that. I'm going to dress down this turn, but I want to dress down on my opponent's turn to like negate any walking ballista. Dude, Leyline Binding is... This card is nuts. There's a brief list of popular historic decks into my deck list. I didn't see it, like... But I also, like, it's... I probably should, you know, maybe put that in the description of the deck tag for formats that aren't Pioneer and Modern. I can't offer, like, really meaningful advice. But it's also, like, I don't think very fair to expect me to, like, try to learn a format by looking at, like, Goldfish links for a deck tag, you know? Or realistic, even. The list look cool. I would try to play more Scurry Oaks and try to be able to combo off a little bit more often, but beyond that, I don't think there's much insight I can give. Binding that. My considering 1-2 Days in Doing for the Gotcha, Narset, and Teferi. I am, again, I've said this a bunch, I'm just like not that into that combo. It's kind of slow, it's somewhat easy to play around, it raises the curve. Days in Doing is such like a dead draw if you don't have Narset, which is scary. In a control deck to have cards that are individually weak, but I know that the C likes it a lot. I know there's lots of players I love and respect that like it. It is also very much not my style. How to shape mana bases for binding in a mostly blue Jeskai control deck, similar to what I've done in blue-white. I can't imagine it would be much different than still playing your Jeskai Triome and playing Zagoth Triome, just like this, right? I would have a hard time imagining the mana base would look that different. I guess I would play instead of the Watery Grave I'm playing, maybe play a Steam Vents. Scoop him up 10 months. What do I think of this deck? If you post a link in chat, I can take a look. Days on Doing Shieldred. Does that work? Because Days on Doing ends the turn. Doesn't that like stop the triggers? But it's really gonna not scoop. Let me have my fun. A 1, a 2, a 3. Another Teferi, okay. See, it's a different card. I'm gonna keep this. Obviously, it's a different card. They do pretty different things, but I am not. Probably hand where we get Zagoth Triome first because we have the Mystigate. I'm not really that into Wandering Emperor. I have a Leyline Binding Rhinos list without Yorion that's playing Sign of Draco in the Stream Decker. I haven't played it very much, but it is there. I was talking about Wandering Emperor. Wandering Emperor is a card that blue-white control players love. Wafo is doing really well with it at first, but it's a card that I have like... Ooh, Obosh deck. It's a card that I don't think is very good at the moment. This could be the Obosh deck that won the PTQ. So I might want to be getting my basic planes this game. And just have Leyline Binding be 2 mana. I can still cast Archmage's Tribe next turn because of Mystic Gate. What was the mono white I was building earlier? It's kind of like a goofy brew. What can I say? I'll work on it some more tonight. People seem pretty excited about it. I don't know or necessarily think it's going to be good though. Kaheera, to me, answer my call. You can also, against Ragavan, if you're binding a Ragavan and they play another one, you could bounce it with Teferi, Legend roll the Ragavans. Binding again. Okay, they are on Blood Moon here, so I'm glad I played around it. I can draw a Prismatic Ending or a Leyline Binding, answer it. Binding is going to be 3 mana. But I'm also just have Teferi. They're also cut off of their black spells, but presumably they're like mostly red splashing black, although it doesn't look like it from this draw. Ghost Dad 2 months. Time to start my preschool. This is preschool. What's the status of hats? Hats, I'm pretty sure they're in that closet because I unboxed like most of the boxes that were in the garage. They weren't there. So I just have to like sift through them. Cool. Now I have an answer to the moon. Gonna plus. Draw Counterspell. Stomp, okay. Stomp plus Bolt, maybe. Okay, take it. Not a terrible exchange. I did draw the Counterspell. Good timing, opponent. I can trade Kaheera for Bone Crusher, though. After I unlock Kaheera with the ending. Maybe taking a hit. Yeah, it looks, well... Yeah, I think it's fine. I'll just hold the Counterspell again this turn, ending the Blood Moon. Yeah, maybe this unlocks some of their spells in their hand, but I do need to deal with it at some point. Can maybe get my Triome to make Leyline Binding 1 mana. This is the only card in my deck that cares about the graveyard. Kind of thought my opponent would crack their relic there. They didn't. How do we make white mana with Blood Moon out? Basic Plains. Basic Plains, baby. The secret tech against Blood Moon. Oh man, finally a spike deck that doesn't just crumble to Blood Moon. I know it's not that common. Okay, let's Kaheera. And then if my opponent just plays Obosh attacks, well, I guess they're like not that likely to play Obosh and attack and like just trade here. Maybe they would. But I'm gonna be blocking this if they don't kill it, and maybe try to set up for a verdict on the Obosh instead of using my Counterspell. Magaret to give the 2 months. Appreciate you. Kaheera continues to just be broken. They don't play the Obosh. I wonder if they have like Kolaghan's Command. They probably prop the relic so I can't flash back. Let's take Solitude Charm. Isn't Esper Triome better than Savory because it casts Verdict? Well, you want to play one blue-white Triome, or sorry, no matter what you do, one of your Triomes is not going to help you cast your white spells if you want Domain on turn 2 and have them both be blue sources in your Counterspell Archmage's turn deck. I didn't even realize 2 Triomes let you do this morning. Someone in chat pointed it out. I had 2 Shocklands at first. But you want both of these to tap for blue, and you want together them to make Domain, so no matter what, or 5/5 type Domain, no matter what, you are not going to be one of these Triomes is just going to be like an island that is fixing for binding and enters tapped. Okay, so we're up against Goofy, Mono Red, Obosh. They do seem to be playing a lot of 1-drops. Probably play 3rd Chalice, although we are on the draw. I mean, their deck's a little weird. I think I'll just play 3rd Chalice or Dress Down. I think we don't need to sideboard much. Yeah, I think Binding is really, really good here. Specifically, also just like 1 mana answer to Teferi and Red and 6. I can't even begin to describe how. I can't begin. But it's so insane. Where like because it's 1 mana, it lets you catch back up, and you can go to Exile Teferi, Exile Red with Counterspell up. With Counterspell up on turn 3, it's crazy. that like it lets you catch up. It's oof. Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on Voices from the Void. I wanted to playtest it. We've cast it one time in our opponent's draw step at instant speed with Teferi. It is a 5-for-1, and I think like you know, it seems like good enough to have in the sideboard for at least the Omnath matchup. Good for the mirror. Just 5 mana 5-for-1. 5 mana delete your hand. Yeah, this is for a 4-color Omnath, some combo deck. I bring it against like I think most combo decks. Mostly 4-color. Okay, mulligan. Is one of Narset the spicy card? it's the Voices. Narset also, I think, you know, a good one of sideboard card too for 4-color Omnath. I talked about this a bunch, but I think that like blue-white is good against Hammer, it's good against Living End, it's good against Murktide. Blue-white is about even against Creativity. I'm not 100% sure who I feel is favored, but I think the matchup is pretty close. And I think that the matchup against 4-color is the one I'm interested in hedging against with the flex spots. Let me put back Teferi here. I want to keep Force for Blood Moon with this hand. But it's yeah, it's 4-color. I think you need to hedge against. So you cut the stupid Wandering Emperors. You play some sideboard cards for the matchup, and it's not going to be that bad, huh? Not going to be so bad. Turn 1 Monkey. Does not summon Prismatic Ending to the top of my library. Is Leyline Binding the answer to make Garuda playable? Maybe, huh? Maybe. Now Garuda, that's a card with a deck building restriction, huh? A real companion. Pitch the Counterspell so I can maybe go Jace, bounce Ragavan. Solitude is interesting. I'm gonna get another basic island, so if they do have another Blood Moon, I can still cast the Jace through it. And I can also cast Leyline Binding, because it'll be 3 mana though. Also, Solitude next turn if I want to, pitching Kaheera. Yeah, oh, I remember under the old companion rule, the Garuda deck was really, really good with like specifically Lion's Eye Diamond. You would just turn one it was crazy. Okay, so I think I'm gonna this turn wait for them to go to combat and then just steal the Ragavan after the Bone Crusher is tapped. Yeah, that's true. 3 LEDs can still cast it. I remember it was just like, that deck was crazy. I feel like it was a little underrated at the time. I did a Legacy tournament. I was playing, so Lurrus got banned really fast in Legacy. It was so good. Lurrus got banned in Legacy before they nerfed Companions. It was so good. But I was actually playing Kaheera in Storm in Legacy, where this was pre-companion nerf, where it was free, and then the Kaheera, like, sometimes on your Empty the Warrens turns, you would just go, like, you know, Infernal Tutor, crack for 3 green mana, get your Empty the Warrens, cast Kaheera, cast Empty the Warrens, and, gross. Cast Kaheera, cast Empty the Warrens, though, and like have a more board pressure, and then against the control decks, like there's like a lot of draw go happening, and then you just cast Kaheera. You just cast Kaheera when you were playing draw go, and they would have no removal spells in their deck post board, and you would get to deal them like 9 damage with Kaheera, and you could kill them with the really small tendrils. So I think I top 8'd like the only challenge I played with Kaheera and Legacy Storm, but it was very, very fun. And I think that was like very soon after I had like won the Miracles RPTQ or PTQ with Kaheera and Miracles. So Kaheera was really crushing it for me. Hard Evidence is a bad Magic card. Don't play it. How dare you slander Hard Evidence? But this does look cool. Yeah. I agree hard evidence is worse when you're trying to get tap land turn 1. Which is maybe true for the other version too, huh? I think I'm going to plus on myself. Hope they don't have a burn spell. Leyline Binding on top. Yeah, let's keep that. Would Dig Through Time be good in Teamer, Creativity, and Pioneer, like 1 or 2? Yeah, I think so. Especially like if you're in on the more combo version, like I suggested. It would be like a lot better at that too, just to like more consistently find your creativities. Like maybe 2 even. If Blood Moon is out, you lose. Blood Moon is good against Leyline Binding. Although if you have Plains, Island, Mountain from Blood Moon, it still costs 3. I think I am very likely to lose this game. If I had Solitude... Okay, I do find Solitude. Why is Jace legendary? Still, still need some help. Yeah, we should play Jace Mirror Mage instead, huh? Okay, well, let's go to game 3. To be on the play for game 3, pretty big deal. Still don't think I'm sideboarding super duper heavily. I could maybe play Dovin's Veto. Maybe like one. I could cut a Verdict for a Veto. It's probably fine. Verdict's pretty hard to cast through the moons. Just done any value. It's okay. I mean, I guess we didn't see Season Pyromancer first, but it's probably fine. Four months. Thank you, Koyo, for the 4 months. What's Voices from the Void for? It's for mostly 4-color Omnath. Just 5 mana. You discard 5 cards. You can bring it in a few other slots too. I'm mostly just playtesting it, but I think the first copy is good. I'm pretty happy with the first copy. We'll just have to like playtest and see if it performs as well as I think it does. We've casted it 1 time against Eldrazi Tron, but it was awesome. Narset to counter Season Pyromancer. It's not really good against anything else. It's not great versus their burn spells, but I think it'd be fine. Maybe Narset over Deluge, because they have the relics. They're worth considering Veil on the sideboard. I'm not a big fan of Veil of Summer in the sideboard of modern decks right now because it's not good against 4-color Omnath. It's just like, I think we put back to the Deluge here. You know what I mean? It's like it's really tough to play a card like this that is for like the traditional interactive matchups, and to play a card like this that isn't good in those matchups. And like the card is like pretty bad against 4-color. Obviously they still have 4 counter spells, but in their 80-card deck, just not a big fan. Could you run the discard spell in your reanimator list? The discard spell. This card. I mean, in the reanimator list, you don't really have domain though. It's a 5-drop. Inquisition. Taking Counterspell, so maybe in on Blood Moon again this game. So I think I'm going to play the fetch, and I'm very unlikely to crack it here. I could get the Zagoth Triome.
What's up? It's me, your friend Inspiring.
And cast Leyline Binding for 1 mana, but I think just being able to answer Blood Moon seems really important. I can do it at instant speed too with the Binding next turn. Although, yeah, I guess this is the card that makes me do this. And if they do Blood Moon again, sure. They also don't have their Swamp in play. How's the Band Company deck been going? I haven't been playing it. I played it like 2 leagues before, and I've just kind of been focused on other stuff. But we'll definitely be playing more. Just a lot of stuff to explore with the new set. Could have still gotten Plains. No, if I get Plains, Leyline Binding costs 3 instead of 2. If I had Zagoth Triome first, I could have gotten Plains, but I didn't have Zagoth Triome. Discarding 2 Lightning Bolts. Pretty good chance I just cast Kaheera this turn. Let's see what we draw. It's kind of like answering the tokens here. I think Grid Valkyrie or Team Escape Shift are well positioned. I think both of them are fine. I would personally prefer Team Escape Shift, but I'm always like biased, I think, towards like the Counterspell decks, the instant speed decks. But I think Green Red is also good. I kind of play Green Red Valakut with like a Boreal Grazer. Like you can recoup the card disadvantage with your You can recoup the card disadvantage that you lose with Grazer from your Written 6 without too much difficulty, I think, and being better against Ragavan, I think, is kind of nice for that deck. Okay, let's pass back with Charm Up. Hopefully they just put Obosh into their hand. I would love to get to a Hardcast Solitude, exile the Spyro, block a token. They only have 3 cards in their hand. You can do Esper, Reanimator, Yorion with Binding. Easy. Eddie Cave would be good. Yeah, it's maybe more reasonable now that you have Aether Mage's Touch too. I do agree with Yorion. Like, you can still play Cottage or Aether Mage's Touch. I don't know if it would be good. We're thinking about... Yeah, come back to Wandering Mind. Oh, I miss Wandering Mind. Oh, I should have tapped... Sorry, I should have left this white mana up. And I get punished for it. I think I would have Binding this. So I can go Jace, look for a white source. I think I just kind of like holding up Counterspell, Binding the Seasoned Pyromancer. Maybe Counterspell Obosh. Binding. Yeah, I'm so like my brain. I've done that. I do this a lot of the times when I play like off-color Triomes like this. I just think I need to leave the Triomes untapped and. Like, it's really hard for my brain to think of Zagoth Triome as a basic island, but that is what it is in this deck. Leyline Binding has been really good so far. Been a big fan. I'd also put an Urtai in the Arameer list. I have to read Urtai? You wouldn't make me read Urtai, would you, chat? So we're gonna have like Kolagon's command here. Oh, the Bad Vincer, dude, that card. That card is the Bad Vincer for sure. Let's hold up Solitude. Like, going Solitude this turn into like Jace Counterspell seems kind of nice. Any thoughts on Destroy Evil being more playable with Binding's popularity? Destroy Evil is interesting. It's a card that I'm having a hard time evaluating, to be honest. I did discard 2 Lightning Bolts earlier, but if I fetch Shock, I am dead to a Bolt. Their hand is Obosh, 4 mystery cards. Two bolts left in the deck. I think I'm not playing around bolts. Is there a way to flicker Binding? You can bounce it with your hand to your hand with Teferi. Yeah, they have both. They have bolts. I do. Or I guess also Stomp, huh? I don't like that pause. I don't like that pause, but I'm like my hand's forced here. Alright, good beats. Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to do that in combat or not. I'm in kind of bad shape no matter what. Ooh, up against Yorion, so hopefully we get to bring in the Voices from the Void. Is it worth running Enchantress over playing Blood Moon? That's a really good question. Really good question. I think it's likely that you can still main deck 1 Blood Moon as a tutor target in the main deck, and then like side out Bindings when you bring in Blood Moons, and just like not go for Blood Moons in most games. Can play Profane Tutor? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's also like Yorion is a good card. But I don't know that Yorion like would add meaningful win percentage points. But it is true like your mana is like also better with Yorion. Can maybe play the 4th Cottage. But it's on a Mold of 5 on the play. What's the Black Bar Lore? It's not, yeah, not super deep. I messed something up. I don't know where it came from, but there's a black bar at the top of the screen I couldn't get rid of, and because there's like a new set, new cards and stuff to work on, I wasn't really bothering with it very hard. I was being kind of lazy, and I just rebuilt the scene and it went away. The on-screen chat box need to be shifted ever so slightly to the right. Yeah, I think you're right. I'll get around to it. Volpert, thank you for the 2-pack. Opponent's playing Utopia Sprawl. It's kind of interesting. Creativity Shift. Ooh, they plus. That's awesome. Hopefully they draw a blue card. Second Binding is A-okay as well. Get out of here, Teferi. Be gone with you. Back from whence he came. This deck is hard to look at. First review, hard to look at. I would be pretty inclined to. I guess Bring to Light can get you Transmogrify, so maybe you don't need to play any more Transmogrifies. Oh, good draw. I would be inclined to play the 4th Hard Evidence, although so I think maybe Leyline Binding does make Hard Evidence like a lot worse because you're wanting to get a tap land on turn 1 a lot more often than you used to be. Okay, this is fine. And so like having to fetch Shock a blue source on turn 1 is worse. Maybe it is fine to actually, maybe you could play 0, could play 4 Bolt, 4 Explore, 2nd Transmogrify, although Transmogrify obviously works without it, maybe that's fine. But main deck Spell Pierce. Play 1 more land, pretty easy I think. I love the Voices from the Void Bring to Light target. I think that's great. You could maybe main deck it, probably not. I kind of like the Unmoored Ego over Slaughter Games so you can name lands. I think naming lands is pretty nice, pretty good. Okay, we'll go Solitude this turn. Teferi Force up next turn. Iron Pip Hand, thank you for the 17 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I usually like and it's also 3 mana, so like being able to cast it turn 3 in this format is really relevant. Obviously uncounterable, a little bit relevant against like Rhinos and stuff, but for 4 mana. I mean, obviously like you're Bring to Lighting for it most of the time. Oh, you should probably play 4th Bring to Light. I noticed you're only playing 3. You should probably play 4. Yeah, so like maybe -3 Hard Evidence, +1 Explorer, +1 Lightning Bolt, +1 Bring to Light. And then Unmoored Ego over Slaughter Games. Everything else looks pretty good to me. I don't think I've got many notes beyond that. Man, it looks good. Cool list also. Yeah, Voices does work with Bring to Light. It's not like Converge. It just checks on the lands you have on Resolution. I think I might bounce my Solitude to my hand. Have some equity against Omnath. Yeah, not being able to play Valkyrie does stink, but a small price to pay. I guess I do have Verdicts. I could plus this Jace or the Teferi too. Really good that Teferi turns off Bring to Light. Yeah, we can plus. Also, if I draw another Teferi next turn, I can get kind of deep, and I can go bounce Leyline Binding, play Teferi, bounce Leyline Binding, Legend roll, and then re-Leyline Binding. And then I net a Leyline Binding. How many times can I say that one turn? Oh, I could also like maybe get up. I could maybe like Kaheera. Ooh, yeah. Next turn I could do something like pick up Leyline Binding, Kaheera, cast Kaheera, attack, kill Teferi, and just have a Binding in hand, and then still have Force up. It's kind of deep. Resolves. Oh, I've seen this. Oh, I've seen this deck. There was something weird about this deck. I can't remember. Hold on. Okay, so we'll just Kaheera, kill Ren 6 next turn. What are they doing? I can't remember. What was weird about this deck that was playing Ensnaring Bridge? We played a match against it earlier. There was something. Remember, there's something weird about it. Trying to remember, I can't remember. Leyline Binding and Resurgent Belief. I mean, I think it's a good fit there for sure. And then one nice thing about Leyline Binding and Resurgent Belief is that it answers lock pieces like Teferi and Rest in Peace, which were previously pretty tricky for you to deal with. I don't know if it's going to resurge my belief in that deck as an archetype, but I may be interested enough to give it a go after not really being super interested in giving it a go for a long time. Okay, so their last card in hand is Ensnaring Bridge. I imagine they want to kill Teferi and Solitude with these two triggers. That brew anything with Maria? Okay, this is the second time someone has said Maria, and that's not a card I know by heart. Oh, is Maria the artifact lady? Because I don't think she's very good. Oh, Gruul Urza. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that card's like if Maria could let you tap tokens, I would be all about it, but not the case. Okay, so we do go shields down here, but we're also not dead to Scape Shift, and Teferi's turning off Bring to Light, so I think this is fine. They do have Ensnaring Bridge. It's kind of annoying because it would be. I guess I can go bounce Leyline Binding, Ensnaring Bridge, Leyline Binding, kill Teferi. Yeah, I guess that's good. Fun line. And I'm gonna brainstorm. And then I think it's probably correct to reset my Teferi here, so that I can pick up this Leyline Binding, kill their Teferi, have another Leyline Binding up, or just kill them in two turns. Not the Escape Shift. Now the Escape Shift, or I guess they don't have it. I'm not sure how important it is to have a Binding up. I feel like it's good if they draw Omnath. Ooh, can I Chalice on 4? I think I can Chalice on 4. Let me see if I just find a Counterspell. Okay, yeah, well. Boring. But good enough to win. I liked Elden Ring a lot. I've been wanting to play a second playthrough. I would recommend it. That's true. Throwing away fun equity. Binding has been nuts all day. Binding has been nuts all day so far. you know, at the end of the day, it is a removal spell, but it is a very, very, very good removal spell. Alright, Gatewatch assembled. 2 counterspells up, lethal in play. Going to game 2. So we're up against Bring to Light Scapeshift variants with like Ensnaring Bridge in the main deck. I'm going to bring in the Voices. Bring in the Disputes. We're going to bring in the Narset, the Vetoes. Maybe not the Narset. But I'm going to cut the Chalices. I'm going to go down to like 3 Solitude. Probably 0 Verdict. Ending is good against Red and 6 Teferi. I might trim 1 copy. Although on the draw, Red and 6 is probably so relevant that I want all 4. And then on the play, I could do something like play 4th Solitude, 1st Dress Down, 1st Verdict, 1st Rest in Peace. Yeah, Voice of the Void is a domain spell where your opponent discards a number of cards equal to your domain. So in this deck, it's basically 5 mana, you discard 5. Have the main deck verdicts been important in any matchup so far? We played against Hammer Time and Murktide. Yeah. I mean, this is modern, you know. Some verdicts important for Murktide, Hammer Time, Living End, Yawgmoth, Rhinos. Think of Herd Migration. Mana fixing huge. I Herd Migration. Remind me what that card does. I mean, this card is really bad to cycle. Like, whenever you're spending 2 mana to, like, search your library for a land, this is a really bad use of your turn. Alright, we do have all 4 endings and 4 Leyline Bindings. I think I guess I get Jeskai Triumph, so I can go fat. If I draw Binding, I can get Zagoth Triome, just exile this for 1. Yeah, I would say that this card is like completely unplayable in any 60 card format. Well, if it was Rampant Growth instead, that card is nuts. That card is like immediately Pioneer staple. But it's not, sadly. I should probably counter Teferi, huh? You guys think countering is a good line? Control is so easy. It's just the easiest deck of Modern to play. It's not nearly as complicated as like Burn or Tron, you know. Plans of playing the 4-mana Luris Angel Modern. I think that card is hard to evaluate. You can get some value immediately by playing a land, playing a Mishra's Bauble for 0 sometimes. The problem with that card is I just don't feel like it's that crazy to untap with it, you know. I don't feel like it's that crazy to untap with it. Alright, I'm down to lose the Veil of Summer. What can I say? Oh man, they didn't have it. Question: is there a spell on the stack? Do you have a counter spell? Yeah, probably just just counter it, huh? It's just that easy. Imagine if they Valky here. Imagine if they just go Bring to Light for Valky and I Leyline Binding. I guess I'm losing to the Renblem, maybe. Yeah, people keep comparing Sarah Paragon to Luris because it returns permanence, but no card is comparable to Luris. Maybe Yorion is, but like Luris wasn't good because it returned permanence. It was good because it was a free extra card. They do go for Valky, and they hit Scalding Tarn Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is a good card to know about. I'm going to fetch before I brainstorm this turn. Delver, 15 months, thank you. Can I explain what matchup Scam is better than usual Red Black X mid-range? I feel like for the Scam deck, it's kind of like... okay, you guys talking about Leyline Binding not being good, huh? Look at this. This is nuts. Yeah, maybe most of them, but the reality is that Scam is a higher variance deck. It has a higher ceiling of draws. It has a lower floor of draws. And in that regard, in that regard, it is higher power level, higher variance. Right, and the version that I've historically liked to play is more consistent, lower power level, but, you know, higher floor as well. They're not scape shifting here, are they? Scape shift doesn't get me. Force of Vigor! I see. But this comes back as a Valky. So I'll just dress down. This is fine. Yeah, I mean, this is their whole turn, and this is now just a dopey 2-1, and this is not an ultimating Rin in 6. Where's my discard spell, though? Although I guess they have Spell Pierce, I suppose. Okay, so let's go top Narset, I guess, and then binding the Rin in 6 pass. Would any modern deck's main deck Luris? Yeah, I've kind of discovered that if your deck is playing Mishra's Bauble and Unearth, this is the context in which you are also interested in main decking Luris, and it's kind of a narrow range of decks that, you know, meet both of those qualifications, right? Let this go. Was Misstep as degenerate as they say? It was really good, although we played against a lot of Chalice of the Void decks, and so that's kind of an interesting aspect of no banless Modern, is that there's a lot of Chalice of the Void decks, and Mental Misstep is really bad against them. Yeah, I didn't forget the Spell Pierce. Yeah, and Paragon doesn't synergize with Unearth. But, you know, I don't know. Paragon really reminds me a lot of Kaya, to be honest. Ooh. Okay, maybe Visage is good against Leyline Binding. Let me draw 2 so I can pick up my Narset here, though. If they have, like, Teferi after this, good for them. Good for them. Just a Grazer. 6 cards in their hand still. I really, really want to draw the discard spell. The Narset gives me 4 looks at it. And then they have exactly 5 in their hand. Oh, it'd be so sweet. Then die to top deck Escape Shift. Only 1 Leyline Binding left in the deck, though. Come on. Whatever that discard spell is called. Domain discard. Damn it. I'm thinking about stealing the Grazer to block Valky. I think I'm still going to ending the Rin. Just let Narset go to 1. Hold up Charm. Dovin's Veto. Yeah, I'm playing a card that's 5 mana, domain, opponent discards a card for each domain that you have. So it's 5 mana, opponent discards 5. Just has a 1-of in the sideboard. Opponent buys Yorion. Isn't it just better to play Thought Distortion? Thought Distortion doesn't hit creatures, and the 4-color Yorion deck is full of, like, super relevant creatures to discard. And also, like, 5 and 6 mana is a big difference, right? Is the opponent casting Yorion here? I don't think I care if they cast Yorion, right? Oh, if they cast Yorion, they get my Solitude. Yeah, I actually have to counter this. Yeah, pretty easy to cast this. We can lose the Narset, I think. Or maybe it's good to... Yeah, maybe it's actually correct to buy Kaheera, pitch Solitude, exile Valky, untap, have Veto up, and this way I just get to stop. Omnath, ETB, Teferi, -1, Abundant Growth, cantrip, if they play that. Yeah, I'll say. I guess we do technically have 2 black sources, but black is tough. Live at the domain dig through time. I really dislike, in a control deck at least, playing a card draw spell that makes you lose life. I think that is something I'm kind of allergic to, but that card could be like a little bit better than I am expecting. So they're going for Scape Shift. We beat any counterspell here. We lose to Veil of Summer. But at least they don't get to draw a card off the Veil of Summer. Oh, this is Wargate for 4. I don't know what they're getting. I'm going to counter. Can't get Scape Shift. Oh yeah, Wargate. That was the card. Remember I said they were playing in Staring Bridge? And I'm like, the bridge is weird. They're playing a weird card with the bridge. It was Wargate. That was the card. Okay, ending, huh? Okay, so they can't draw a card. Okay, now they can draw a card. The ending at least going to be good here. We're into the Tamashi combo deck. I think, you know, once people got a little bit more experience playing against it, players stopped liking it so much, but I think it was a good deck. Still a hard deck to play against. Good draw. White, black, blue, I guess. Getting pretty close to a Teferi emblem. Yeah, I'm not playing Castle Vantress or Hall of the Storm Giants because I'm playing more fetch lands than other blue-white lists do, so I can very consistently have my my mana. And I'm also playing. I'll let this go too. I'm also playing one more like island than I would usually play, just so like these fetch lands will have more islands to get in the late game. And I will say I really liked how the mana base is constructed so far. I think those like those decisions have been really relevant so far. They can exile another Grazer. I think of Veil on the side of the deck. I like despise Veil of Summer and the sideboard of these kind of like of Murktide style or Murktide or Control or Grixis Shadow, Jund, all of these like fair interactive decks that are weak to 4-color Omnath. If you are a fair interactive deck and you are weak to 4-color Omnath, I think you cannot afford to play Veil of Summer in your sideboard. You need to have your sideboard cards for these interactive matchups be good against 4-color Omnath. Probably let that resolve. Failed to find. Glad we let it resolve. Alright, opponent's going to try to fight the Teferi emblem. I'm going to just main phase draw 2, I think. Okay, didn't find another draw effect. We got a game. No, that's not a Ren and 6 emblem, that's a Tybalt emblem. Which doesn't really do anything. Gives them this Scalding Tarn exactly. Is this another Wargate? Wargate for 4. I guess I'm gonna Dovin's Veto this. No, I need to say Veto for Scape Shift. If this is Omnath, I just don't care. Just dry it, I don't care. Well, literally whatever permanent it is too, I can theoretically just Teferi it, I guess. They are making more mana. Presuming that they have more fetchable targets. This is Scalding Tarn. This is my Scalding Tarn, so... Okay, they do have an island. Okay, I wasn't sure. Wait, they could have islanded off the Search for Tomorrow, they just didn't. Weird. I'm definitely going to be going after their mountains to try to make like a Scape Shift unable to kill me. They have 4 cards in their hands. I exile the Omnath. Okay, attack for 3. It was a bluff. It wasn't a bluff. They were trying to draw something off the Almeth trigger to cast. I mean, I think I have to counter this. Okay. They probably just play one Scape Shift. I think that's pretty common. We're really not losing to anything besides the Scape Shift. Oh, the fail to find was a bluff. Yeah, I guess. Not sure exactly what they're trying to bluff. I'm still going to go after their mountains, though. Like I'm just not losing to anything besides the Scape Shift this game. And so if they are playing another Scape Shift and they have like a ton more mountains in their deck, I think it doesn't cost me very much to go after their mountains over their other mana here. Now they're mountain free. I guess hitting the plains was maybe good. Get some the only white source. We should be fine. Should be fine. How many lands have we exiled? We've exiled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands. They still have a ton of mana. They have another Scape Shift. I would be like really interested in letting Escape Shift resolve just to see if they can win, but probably not correct. I don't know. People are so interested in the black bar. I'm gonna take down the defeated tomorrow, but it just popped up on accident, and I was too lazy to fix it. And now I fixed it. It's not that deep. You best believe I'm going to play another Teferi here. Yeah, best believe I'm going to play a Jace here. I don't care how many cards I have in my library. Do not care. Okay, we are 3-1 again. We were started 3-1 last league too. Looks like we did have a league prediction. I couldn't remember. We're on the play of Solitude. Very close hand. I'm gonna try it. I think I'll try it. Binding is so good. There's no way it sells $10. I mean, this isn't not a finance stream. I will say though, like in print standard rares, typically don't get too crazy. Although there have been some exceptions in recent memory. Do you deal 20 damage just by swinging Solitude? You can do that. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, is also has a secret, probably unintended win condition, where when you ultimate your Teferi, you can get rid of all of your opponent's permanents, and you can continue to get rid of all of their permanents turn after turn. Then what you can do is you can just -3 on your own copy of Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and this will allow you to not deck yourself, and then your opponent will deck themselves before you wreck yourself. I think I'll go ahead and Solitude this. We have Counterspell on top, is pretty good pickup here. Want the Solitude as the life linker. Can also, like, if they play Eidolon, although I'll counter Eidolon, but if they resolve an Eidolon, I can Kaheera pitch. Binding's great. Binding's really good. Have I done that? Yeah, back in the standard where Teferi, Hero of Dominaria was everywhere. I did that all the time. I played a lot of control with Teferi, and I've even played control decks where that was the only win condition, and I was pretty easily able to do so. Triple Gobble Guide, wow, and this is the first one connecting. But I was pretty easily able to do so since I play really quickly, and when you play really quickly on Magic Online, your opponents just like can't clock you. Yeah, the leagues took forever, but it was fun. I think I won a RPTQ, a team RPTQ, but I was playing Esper Control in my seat, and that was what I was also doing there. Okay, so we're taking 5 more. The draw's been very good, down to 8. Prismatic Ending on top. Probably necessary for us to ending the goblin guy this turn, so that we don't die to 2 burn spells. And then hopefully we don't die, and we get to Jace, find a bunch of counter spells, win the game. Can maybe plus targeting them. Okay, definitely gonna plus targeting them now. I'm glad that they're casting these burn spells. I guess maybe not, actually. I don't think you cracked this land. I think I do. Maybe save it for 1 Jace. Brainstorm is fine, but also for Leyline Binding is fine. I mean, I have to give them the Sunbait Canyon, although that's obviously by far the worst land to give them. They already have 1 in play as well. That's a very exciting draw. I think I'm going to be like really forced to play Solitude end of turn, so I think I just continue to plus and just, yeah, bottom the burn spell, hope that they brick. Hope that they just draw creatures and lands, and Solitude wins me the game. Weird game, though. Oh, they could also really easily have Searing Blaze. They could have Searing Blaze because they tanked. They also didn't main phase crack their canyon. Fuck. I'm so forced to do this though, right? But they didn't play a land, and they didn't cast a creature. So they have to have Searing Blaze. Okay, now I'm doing it, yeah. Now I have no choice. Or they're bluffing. They think you have a counter, they think you have Blaze. Well, the thing is, like, they have to have a burn spell there. There's no, if their hand was lands and creatures, they would have deployed one of them, almost definitely. Okay, I'm gonna bring in the extra copies of Chalice. I'm gonna bring in the Dovin's Vetoes. I think we're going down to 1 or 0 Supreme Verdict. Cut the Dress down. I think I'll cut the Deluge, play 1 Verdict. Yeah, they shouldn't have let me 0 to the Jace, you're right. Okay, keep this. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to Chalice this turn. Then go Ending next turn, then Chalice on 2. Right in hand. Smash to Smithereens. I guess now I can go Ending plus Chalice on 1. Thank you, Goblin Guide. Very cool. Hello, Athena. You are so out of breath. Oh, hey, Lucy, stop. Lucy. Lucy's tail is always wagging, and she's like hitting my like cords and stuff. Her tail is a menace. It just knocks everything over all the time. You want to get in your chair? Lucy, you want to get in your chair? Come here. Come here. Yeah, you'll like to get in your chair, huh? Days good, Welker Bros. Thanks again for the Leyline Bindings. They've been very handy today. Come here, Lucy. Come here. You want to get in the chair. Come on. No, you just want to be at the feet. Yeah. That's just being greedy, hogging Lucy all day. Can you draw like a single 1-mana burn spell, please, opponent? So I can actually gain 3 life by pitching my whole hand if I need to. So I might need to. Come here, come here. Yeah. Do you not like it because there's the blanket in the here? No, you're hogging Lucy. No, okay. Okay, so against their first burn spell, if they main phase it, I probably just Solitude my Kaheera. I did test the Phoenix leak. It is the Phoenix bug. It was still bugged yesterday. I'll test it again in a couple days. Dude, Kaheera is so freaking good. Just game over now. I don't know if you heard. Esther said she wants to show Lucy off in her meeting. We're both just so proud. I could Prismatic Ending this. Pretty easy. I'll counter this if they have Boros Charm. I'll just Solitude my own Solitude. I think the fact that this stops my Solitude life gain is good enough for me to counter here. Okay, going to game 3. On the draw, game 3, kind of dicey. I feel like Verdict is just way too slow on the draw. Deluge also stinks though. Maybe I still play it. Play the Voices of the Void. Discard all those burn spells, right? Right on time. Turn 5 on the draw against burn. Alright, good enough to keep. Leyline Binding 3 mana in this hand. At least good against Eidolon. Opponent's on a mold of 5, which is big. Big when we're on the draw. Painless hand against a mold of 5. Feeling alright. Think of Joint Exploration for Spiral. It's really, really hard to evaluate. Really hard to evaluate. Just something I'm going to need to cast. Okay, so this is going to be 3 mana to exile this next turn, which I think is fine. Can double 1 mana Leyline Binding next turn, so kind of hoping they play like Eidolon or another Rolling Vortex, I guess. That's a target though. Okay. I'll let them take a damage to the. This is crazy. I get to exile Rolling Vortex and Eidolon for 2 mana without taking any damage. Kind of nuts. I think it's better to hit the Vortex than the Swift Spear. I know this turn is up. How do you know Strand Binding costs 2? I think maybe I misspoke, but it was going to cost 3 before I drew the Strand. Yeah, I did see that Fiddlebender got 3rd. It was very similar to a list I played in the past with Yorion and Splashing Red. It was a very cool list. Alright, I kind of like Chalice on 1 this turn. The next turn, Jace bounce Swift Spear. Doesn't turn off as many cards with the burn deck as you would hope. It's still obviously pretty good here. He looks. I'm dead to exactly skewer here. Okay, they don't have exactly skewer. Sorry, I had a text to respond to. Let's brainstorm. Don't find a counterspell. That's okay because we can go Kaheera, cast Kaheera, and I think I'll play around Skullcrack by just main phasing this. Yeah, this was where we bounced it, so they can't replay it. Yeah, sorry. I was responding to the text. Obviously, we do know the card in hand. I'll brainstorm again. Love to find the counterspell here. I think it's almost always correct in these spots to just go for... Oh, I guess Chalice on 2 turns off my counterspell, but... yeah, I don't know. Chalice on 2 is just too good. They do still have 3 mana burn spells in the deck, but we can just Chalice on 3 also. But none of the 3 damage burn spells cast Solitude. I take the weirdest lines, I swear. Chalice on 2 against burn is weird. What's weird here? I don't know. I feel like this line's pretty good. Yeah, maybe getting rid of Counterspell was correct. But it's also like no. I think holding on to counter if they only had 1 card in their hand that was Swift Spear, then it was correct to bin the Counterspell. But I think that they had a card that we didn't know, and so it's good to have Counterspell up because we can counter a 2 mana burn spell they play in response, right? I think that's correct. Yeah, not the greatest chess. I guess at least we got the Hive. I think I'm going to call the stream a little early today. I'm going to work on some deck lists and eat some lunch. I've been going kind of late lately, so I don't mind getting a little early today. Good day, Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding was amazing all day. It was a really amazing all day. I really do expect it to just be in blue-white control decks going forward, to be honest. I have a hard time after today imagining anytime soon not wanting to play 4 Leyline Binding in blue. Tutors, who is playing that Fiddlebender list you were talking about, I will pay out the prediction also. I will do it right now. I'll do it right now.